And this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism, and this is your election headquarters. Your election headquarters also made possible by Magdan Group of Companies and Verna Water. And we'll start off, I'll take you to the Greater Accra Regional EC Collation Center shortly. We're told that they've just concluded the collation of the Ablekuma North constituency results, which was in contention. We're hearing about some disturbing situation there. I'll take you there shortly. But we also know that President-elect John Mahama has named his transition team in line with the Presidential Transitional Act 2012, Act 845, as transition commences tomorrow. Well, in line with the act, the President-elect shall, within 24 hours after declaration of the presidential election results, appoint persons for the following offices to be made part of the transition team. And we're getting a statement from the NDC as we speak, and the team, we are told, will work closely with representatives of the outgoing government with a view to ensuring a smooth transfer of political power to the incoming administration. So what is the makeup of this particular team? The NDC in that statement says the team is composed of experienced individuals drawn from various sectors, including finance, governance, and public administration. Let's go through the team now, the list as we have it. So the appointed members of the joint transition teams are as follows. Honorable Julius Deborah, co-chairperson. We also have Johnson Asiedun Ketia, a member. We have Fifi Fiavi Kwete, a member. Dr. Callistus Mahama is a member and secretary to the transition team. Dr. Valerie Sawyer is a member. Professor Kwamina Ahoy, a member. Dr. Kaisel Atuforsin. We have Mahama Ayariga. We have Guzi Tano. And Dr. Edward Omanibuama is also a member. And additionally, the President-elect has nominated Right Honorable Edward Do Ajaho as a member of the Transitional Advisory Council. I go through the list for you again, the appointment members of the Joint Transition Team, and we are told that process commences from tomorrow. Julius Deborah, co-chairperson. Johnson Asiedun Ketia, who is the chairman of the NDC, is a member. Fifi Fiavi Kwete, general secretary of the party, is a member. Dr. Callistus Mahama, member and secretary to the transition team. Dr. Valerie Sawyer is a member. She's a former deputy chief of staff. We have Professor Kwamina Ahoy is a member. Dr. Kaisel Atuforsin is a member. Mahama Ayariga is also a member, and Guzi Tano, also a member, and then Dr. Edward Omanibuama is also a member. And don't forget, Dr. Edward Omanibuama will be our guest on the Super Morning Show tomorrow. And this is the makeup of the transition team. And the President-elect has also nominated Right Honorable Edward Duajaho, as a former Speaker of Parliament, as a member of the Transitional Advisory Council. So that's the composition of the transition team, which is the process expected to commence tomorrow. We've been hearing from the President-elect during his acceptance speech. John Mahama mentioned that the joint transitional team will be inaugurated on Wednesday.
I also just received a call from His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He graciously extended his congratulations to me, and we had the opportunity to discuss matters related to the joint transitional team. We agreed on an early inauguration of the joint transitional team as early as Wednesday, the 11th of December. I conveyed my sincerest regards to him and expressed my readiness for us to work together to ensure a smooth transition in the best interest of the Ghanaian people.
And that's the President-elect John Dramani Mahama there during his acceptance speech, hinting about the transition process beginning tomorrow. And I've been giving you a list of the members or the composition of the transition team on the side of the NDC. We'll get to hear who makes up the transition team on the side of the outgoing government. But it's a good time to take you now to the EC's Regional Collation Center here in the Greater Accra region. And those are sounds of chaos and agitations between aggrieved members of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress at the Ablekuma North Parliamentary Constituency Results Collation Centre. Well, the collation for both Ablekuma North and Okaikwe Central has been sent to the Regional Collation Centre after party supporters disrupted the process on Sunday. So far, Okaikwe Central has been resolved with results declared in favour of the NDC's Baba Sadiq. Well, the Ablekuma North is however yet to be completed. We're told that in the last few minutes that process has been concluded, but amidst some concerns being raised. I'll take you live there now, and my colleague James Aveji has been monitoring this process for us since it began at the EC Collation Centre here in the Greater Accra region. James, let's talk about the conclusion of the matter. What exactly happened? Give me a blow-by-blow account.
Well, Emma, so as you mentioned, that process has, all of the chaos have come to an end because the EC, I would say, have been said to have declared the final result. And the reason I say that is because we, the media, have not heard the declaration nor capture the declaration process in the midst of all of the chaos. Now, what happened in the last few minutes is that the EC regional director, who has been absent in the course of the day, came and tried to set the ground rule again for the rest of the coalition. Now, out of the 281 polling stations in Ablekuma North, 219 had been collated as of yesterday, 9 p.m., with the rest 69 postponed to be collated this morning at 10 o'clock. From 10 o'clock to about 12 o'clock, the two parties have still not settled on the... I mentioned the ground rules because the two parties do not have the entire pink sheet of the 281 constituencies. The NPP say they have digital or scanned polling station pink sheets, while the NDC disagreed on using the digital pink sheets because they raised concerns about the eventuality of some of these pink sheets being altered, and so they would want to use the physical or the hardcore pink sheet, which they also do not have the entire 281. And so it is not the case of if the EC has the figures of any of the polling stations, they mention it, the two of them, if the NDC do not have, but the NPP have the digital one and could confirm the EC's figures, they accept it and move on. If the NDC have physical and the EC has the result, they compare it and then they move on. In the case where the EC do not have and the NDC have the physical papers, the NPP do not have, they flag that and move on. But the NPP also disagree that since they have the digital, if the NPP do not have the physical pink sheet, they use their digital one to proceed, which the NDC also disagree. And so that has been the bone of contention this morning till about 5:30 p.m. Now, the EC regional director, in the midst of the chaos, decided to rule in the matter and decided that if the NPP have the digital and both of them, NPC and EC do not have, they proceed with the NPP's digital figures. The NDC disagreed, leading to the final chaos, glass windows being shattered at the EC Regional Collation Center, and some physical, push and pull and touches between the supporters of the two parties. Now, in the last minute, in the midst of the chaos, all of a sudden we heard sounds of jubilation from the NDC supporters. And upon inquiry, we've been told that the EC chair, the returning officer, has been compelled to declare the result. If not, they would not allow him to leave the Regional Collation Center. And so, for the fear of his life, he also declared that the NDC candidate won the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary election. There has not been any figures mentioned as to how much the NDC got out of the coalition and how much the NPP also got out of the coalition. With that jubilation, they all left the coalition center. And so as we have it now, I can say from my point of view that from everything I have seen and heard, I have personally not heard the declaration nor the figures mentioned. But that is what we are going home with. The NPP also reject any declaration and indicating that they will not accept that result. MFA, that's what the situation has been since morning.
Well, but James, I know that this is not the first collation center you've been. You've witnessed the process from when the polls ended up until today. Has that been the way that EC declares results?
That, MFA, sincerely, that is we have witnessed over the period. What happens is after collation, the two parties or the candidate involved in the election are called to sign the final result on the pink sheet. If the candidate themselves will not sign, their agent or representative sign that before the EC take us through the figures. Party A, whatever they get from the coalition, it is mentioned. Whatever Party B gets out of the coalition, it is mentioned. And then the returning officer declares whoever has the highest figure as winner of the election. Mm-hmm. All of those processes have not been observed today. We have only been told that the returning officer says the NDC candidate has won the election. None of the other processes have been observed as far as we are concerned. And this is because at the point, the NDC supporters have what I will say accosted the returning officer, compelling him to mention the winner of the race. If not, they will not allow him to leave the coalition center. Other threats have also come in, leading to what we saw at the end of the day.
But I'm sure that we had the presence of the NPP as well there. What have they been telling you?
The NPP Greater Accra Regional Chairman, Divine Agohom, has indicated after the candidate herself, Nana Ekia-Afriye, rejected the result. The chairman said they would be having an emergency meeting at the regional level of the party this evening, and by tomorrow morning, they should come out with communication on the next step forward as far as this is concerned. And so we are looking forward to tomorrow to see what the final decision of the NPP would be in the matter. But
for just for clarity, did collation end at all? Because that's why it was taken to the regional collation center. Did that process end at all?
The collation process have also not ended. In fact, from yesterday, it ended at 219. With 69 more, 61 actually more to be collated today. And since morning, the rest of the 61 have not been collated. And so the process ended midway without 100% completion.
Well, James Aveji there giving us updates. But James, just before I let you off, there's a statement from the NDC asking all their supporters to withdraw from the various coalition centers. Did we get the indication that the supporters of the NDC withdrew from this coalition center that you are?
Yes, they have all withdrawn from the coalition center. In fact, with the indication that their candidates have been declared winner, all of them who have been on the corridor of the coalition center as well as the entrance of the EC, in fact, they have succeeded in even pulling down one of the gates of the Electoral Commission Accra Regional Head Office, which welders are currently working on fixing before we left. And so all of them together with their leadership have left the EC headquarters. I can confirm that.
James, stay safe and get here safely. Thank you so much. That's my colleague James Kwesi Aveji. They're giving us updates from the EC Regional Collation Center here in the Greater Accra region. The key contention was the Ablekuma North constituency results, and the NPP insisted they had won, and then also the NDC also insisted. But as we speak, we are told that under some condition, the EC has declared the NDC's Irabna Obing as winner for Ablekuma North. We are told that coalition did not end and no figures have also been mentioned. It remains to be seen what will happen going forward. Well, another constituency that there were key concerns that have been raised, even though the EC we know properly declared and put out results, is the Dom Kwabenya constituency. While the parliamentary candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Michael Kwe Jr., is insisting that the declaration of the parliamentary results in favor of his opponent, Elik Blim Makurugu, was invalid. Elik Blim, we know, was declared winner after votes tallied indicates that she crossed the 50% mark. However, Michael Kwe says some ballot papers were burnt to ashes by NDC supporters, which denied constituents of seeing the true results.
In the meantime, EC officials proceeded to announce the Greater Accra presidential results, again excluding the incomplete collation of Ablikuma North then and also Domi Kwabenya. In view of this, we are waiting for the final decision of the EC to decide our options to overturn this illegality, which must never be allowed to stand. It is not a good precedent for election practices in Ghana. Mobocracy cannot replace democracy. In conclusion, we say that we know and we believe we've won the election. When you think you have won an election, you submit yourself to the process. The EC will then decide, okay, this overvoting should be put aside, or the one you thought was this is not, so you have lost. If we win, we will rejoice. If we lose, we will commiserate. But we will respect Ghanaians and the rule of law because we want to follow due process. But no one should think that they can usurp democracy and go and count and collate without the presence of the other party. This is against the law. No one on my side should go and fight a fellow Ghanaian brother. We are all Ghanaians. We are one. Let the rules work. That is the will of the people.
That's Michael Kwe Jr. is the NPP parliamentary candidate for Dom Kwabenya. Well, in Techiman, we are told that some youth are seething with anger over delays in the declaration of the results for the parliamentary elections for Techiman South. Anas Sabet spoke with Edu Jemfi, the leader of the concerned youth of Techiman.
Based on what happened in 2020, we were thinking something different can occur in Techiman, but it was on a different note. We actually had a peaceful election in Techiman, and after the election, based on what happened in 2020, we thought that the Electoral Commission would be fast enough to declare. Even Odododio Bantima, when you consider their population, they were more than us, but they were able to come out with the election results, of which there were no violence after that. But here we've waited up to now, and we have an adage that says justice delayed, justice denied. So we are calling on the Electoral Commission. We met here to call on the Electoral Commissioner and all those stakeholders in our election to come out with the results of Techiman.
And that's a youth leader there interacting with my colleague Anas Sabit. Well, in the last few hours after the declaration or after the elections, we've seen supporters of largely the NDC occupying certain facilities. We are told about some offices as well. We've seen the Ghana Gas in the last few hours. Also, we've seen the burning of the Insawam office of the Electoral Commission, amongst several others. And there are widespread condemnation about this particular act. Earlier, there was supporters actually occupied the Ghana Gas office here in Accra, and my colleague Joyce Force editor Nathaniel Atto was at the Ghana Gas office. Here's his report.
I'm here at Roman Ridge at the main junction that leads to the head office of Ghana Gas Company, which is also known as Ghana Gas. Earlier we reported on Joy News that there was some disturbance in the yard where there was an incidence of over 300 men, some very heavily armed, going over to claim that they wanted to take over the whole head office of Ghana Gas. Now, what we do realize here is that so many staff of the company, some who are very, very alarmed, are driving out, and there is a heavy presence of police personnel. Some army officers, also fully armed, have just left the place. One of the people who just got here to come and have a full feel of the situation is the former CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, who had a conversation with the leadership of the Ghana Police Service, who were detailed here to come and take charge of the situation. But it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Joy News. What did you pick up and what brought you here?
Somebody called a very frightened person inside Ghana Gas, But you see, the soldiers also came heavily armed. They are still there. And I want to appeal to those young people. Please, don't create problems for the man in whose name you are doing this. President Mahama is not even president yet. He has promised this nation that when he comes to power, he will resolve all these issues. We understand that the jobs issue is an issue. We understand that you have problems making ends meet. But this is not the answer, or this is not the beginning of the answer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this was a message from Collation, who is the leading member of the National Democratic Congress. I've been able to catch up with John Mahama, who is the National Youth Organizer of the NDC, also known as Pablo. Pablo, good to see you. And what are you doing here?
I was just driving past and then I saw I didn't see what happened, and I believe the report was not false. Like I said, the NDC as a political party is a peace-loving political party. We are the midwives of Ghana's democracy. We won an election, the good people of Ghana have given us the mandate to govern. I will plead with everyone out there that this is not why Ghanaians voted for us. The day of accountability will come for the people who have committed atrocities against the state of Ghana. So everybody should be patient, everybody should be relaxed. We should trust in the leadership of the party, trust the people.
Nathaniel Atto from Roman Ridge, right here, close to the head office of Ghana Gas Company.
And that's what my colleague, Joy Sports editor Nathaniel Atto witnessed at the Ghana Gas offices here in Accra. Well, we have a statement from the police. The NDC has also issued a statement asking supporters to withdraw from various collation centers. But thankfully, we have the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbande, joining us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight, Mr. Gbande. So what exactly is going on? We are seeing supporters of your party besieging various institutions. We are seeing burning of offices, seizure of properties, amongst others. Is this the charge to your supporters?
Well, thank you very much. I wish we have some time so that I digest this important matter. So there are three issues that are running. One has to do with places involving unresolved electoral issues, parliamentary. Places where we have finished election, coalition have unnecessarily delayed for whatever reason. You would see that our supporters are fully present in those areas. It is with the tacit blessing of the party that we mount vigilance to ensure that the right things are done at places where we believe that we have won the seats. By whatever reason, the Electoral Commission is delayed. Number two.
Just on that number one, let me find out if supporters mass up at these areas that you believe that you've won and there are delays in declaration. What exactly is the role of the supporters when they get to such centers? What exactly are you asking them to do when they mass up there?
Just as I promised you before the election that the NDC strategy did not accompany any sort of lethality or any intention to hurt anybody. And today, you can attest to the fact that no single individual in the MPP have been hurt by any single NDC supporter, except to say that when they are present at the polling stations, at the collation centers, they give us maximum vigilance, particularly when you have had unwarranted, unlawful deployment of military or military intervention at polling station, collation centers. That call for that particular action.
And these supporters will give vigilance that the executives or those who have been mandated to be at these polling stations or collation centers cannot give.
We have seen places where government or the MPP tried to use the military to declare results, and that is what we are fighting.
So the supporters are supposed to clash with the military or authorities who are supposed to be there?
No, they are supposed to be there to ensure that they witness and ensure that no illegal processes manifest. They are not supposed to attack anything. They are not supposed to clash with the police. In fact, you cannot attack an officer in uniform, be it police, be it a journalist, be it whatever it is. You cannot do that, and that was not our sanction.
But that's what we're seeing on the ground. I bet you know that that's what is happening on the ground.
Those are spillovers, which is being handled. I think that yesterday the General Secretary, myself, and the National Organizer happened to be with the IGP, had detailed discussions on this. We have given our commitment as a party on behalf of the flag bearer to the IGP to ensure that any act of unlawfulness is dealt with by the police, because the law must still stand. Nobody has the right to do what is unlawful. And so that is being handled. But let me go to number two. Number two are places where persons go to institutions in the name of going to invade, going to take over. That act is criminal, unlawful. It has the party has no knowledge of it. We do not even know some of the individuals who go to these places. And of course, like today I went to the harbor and there were a lot of people there, numbering about 300. Subsequently, we managed to de-escalate that situation, collaborating with the police and the military there. Then I got a call that there were certain individuals at Ghana Gas. I rushed there, ensured that they left, engaged with the leadership of Ghana Gas, engaged with the police, actually ensured that I spoke to the police to reinforce the place so that nobody is able to come and disturb the working environment at Ghana Gas. That was restored before I left there. The third one are places where we see MPP appointees, government appointees, stealing and taking away government properties.
And is that the work of supporters, or is it supposed to be the work of the police or authorities to be able to handle that?
If you can permit me to explain this. So in those places, for example, yesterday, 8 Land Cruisers were sent to Bema camp to go and hide somewhere. What I did ask was that go and tell the police to go and arrest such persons. You do not have the right to go and invade a private property or a government property in the name of arresting someone or a government official who is stealing. They have already stolen. There are procedures to recover this without having to break a law. And so that one also, if anybody is found, taking the law in their hands, the police should deal with it squarely. I have also been engaging national security, and I assure them that they are still in government. They should not run away from their responsibilities. We should engage to ensure that we de-escalate the tension that is ongoing.
But how do you de-escalate when you have leading members of your party posting on social media, asking people to withdraw people from queues at the airport, asking people to take over, amongst others? How are you de-escalating when leadership of the party is also charging supporters to take the law into their own hands because you have won an election?
I can assure you that I'm speaking to you in my capacity as a Deputy General Secretary. I have the full blessing of the General Secretary to let you know that the police is fully in charge of state security. And anyone, including myself, who acts in a way that offends the law should be arrested. We cannot have a lawless situation. If your action is not justified, is not measured, is not calculated, that can escalate tension in this country. No Ghanaian want unlawfulness. The very reasons why MPP is going to opposition are lessons for us coming into government. His Excellency John Mahama have made it very clear that no party faithful is supposed to incite or get themselves into or involved in activities that are unlawful. That is why we are pleading with party members who may not understand the issue, but of course, who are hurt by the actions of the outgoing government, to exercise restraint and patience as transition have begun, as processes have begun to transfer power. Even if President Mahama take over power, things must be done lawfully. If you need a job, there are processes to get a job. If you find somebody have stolen something, which of course is a national assignment to recover, there are processes to do same. There is no need invading government, private properties, invading individual homes, just as MPP did, which amounted to hooliganism in 2020. We will not do same. Party leadership condemn such acts. we further plead through your medium to all party members to exercise restraint. We are also aware that some elements within government have activated some covert measures where people are wearing NDC shirts to escalate this situation, leading to a state of emergency. I am pleading with government. We must all come together as stakeholders to ensure that we hold the situation very calm.
Okay, we will leave it here for now. That's Mustafa Gbande, is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC there on the situation. And then we know that the police also issued a statement. A number of arrests have been made. We're told that 89 suspects have been picked up in connection with various offences during this period, with 40 of them directly linked to the acts of vandalism. Michael Ashali joins me in studio with details of that statement that the police has put out, also regarding the Tepa situation as well. What do we know?
Well, let's start with the Tepa. It says that the Ghana Police Service has declared 3 identified persons wanted and is on the lookout for a group of individuals who broke into a private warehouse and a radio station at Tepa in the Ashanti region. The suspects, one Akakpo, Assembly Member for Akwasiase, George, Assembly Member for Mabin, and Majid, together with others, allegedly broke into the warehouse and made away with some items, including agricultural spraying machines, bags of fertilizers, and Wellington boots, among other things. Police operations are underway to get the suspects arrested to face the full rigors of the law.
Okay, so that's the police statement on especially the Tepa situation, and we are told that some 89 suspects have been arrested, and that the NPP has also issued a statement from the General Secretary, Justin Kudia Frimpong. That statement is signed by him, and a number of issues that he's hoping to address. He says that the steering committee of the party had an emergency meeting on Tuesday and would like to offer its appreciation to national, regional, and constituency polling station executives and all other officials of the party, as well as their members, sympathizers, and various volunteers whose daily sacrifice and commitment, fueled the 2024 national campaign of the party. It goes on also to raise issues about some constituencies, including the Dom Kwabenya, Ablekuma North, Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, Ahafuano North, Obuasi East, Ahafuano Southwest, Akwetia, Suhum, Fantiakwa North, Insao Madujui, a number of them that they are raising concerns about. They say whatever happened there threatens the foundation of our democracy and likely to trigger unrest and insecurity should the NPP respond in equal measure. It defies logic that a party that has been declared winner of a general election would encourage its supporters to pursue such acts of lawlessness and vandalism as witnessed in pronouncements by Sami Jemfi and Malik Basintale. Unknown to the public, some of our parliamentary candidates and officials of the EC were held at gunpoint at several collation centers by hoodlums of the NDC to coerce them into declaring results in their favor. We have also gathered several videos of the burning, destruction, and looting of public properties and items, as well as properties of our parliamentary candidates by hoodlums of the NDC. This, they say, is unacceptable. This, it says, is lawlessness. Portions of that statement signed by the General Secretary of the NPP. Well, the President-elect has been speaking about this act of vandalism. We can hear from him.
I know that many of you are feeling frustrated and angry, but I ask you today, please do not give in to negativity and pessimism. There have been reports of acts of vandalism at some government facilities and installations. I urge you not to vent your frustration in criminal enterprise. We must channel our anger and frustration into the positive enterprise of resetting and rebuilding our nation. Let us be brief in our celebration, for the weight of office will be an onerous one. Expectations of Ghanaians are very high, and we cannot afford to fail them. Let us maintain and even magnify this joy and positivity that we feel. We have arrived at this moment because so many of you believed that change was possible. And now we know that not only is change possible, but it is also already in process. Let us continue to believe that we are already moving towards the Ghana we want, the Ghana of our hopes and dreams. And in this Ghana where we have turned a new chapter and are setting a new tone, our best days are not behind us, my brothers and sisters. Our best days are ahead of us.
That's the President-elect John Mahama, and we know also that he's named members of his transition team in line with the Presidential Transition Act. We've been bringing you details of that. When we return, we'll also hear from thousands of NPP supporters pledging their support to the party's defeated presidential candidate in the aftermath of one of the party's heaviest electoral defeat. Let's do business now. George Wiafe is here. Hello, George.
Hi, MF, and I'll be telling you how the President-elect John Mahama will be planning to deal with the unemployment challenge facing the economy. I'll be getting you more details on that one. And some commercial banks turn to artificial intelligence to help improve loan extension and repayment. As First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Bukwafari, has been giving us some details in this area. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Synthestanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal. You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, President-elect John Mahama has revealed that he'll be looking at incentivizing private sector to help deal with the unemployment challenge facing the country. This will be done by offering some tax breaks to businesses that will help employ persons that are coming out of the investors. President-elect has been given more details in an interview with a network.
Before I left office, we held a conference between business and academia, and it was very interesting. The university and the captains of industry were seated here, and the conversation was, what skills are you looking for as an entrepreneur? What skills are you looking for? And he says, I'm looking for middle-level technical skills. It was obvious that there was a disconnect between what business was looking for and what we were producing from the schools. We're producing more graduates in certain sectors. So we need to make a shift. And so one of the things we're going to do is to build more technical and vocational training schools. I've actually said that in every district we must have a modern technical and vocational training school so that more of our young people, even when they leave senior high school, can go and learn a skill. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that total government employees do not exceed 1 million people. And Ghana's population is 33 million people. So it shows that the capacity of government to employ is very limited. And so it means that if we must absorb a lot of these young people, the private sector must be empowered to be able to do that. And so we're going to see how we can rationalize those taxes so that it makes it Ghana a more favored destination for investments.
And that was President-elect John Mahama speaking to the Global South World News Network. Now, businesses have been outlining their expectation for the President-elect John Mahama when it comes to improving the business environment. Now, key among them is the reviewing the tax structure and stabilizing the economy. Let's hear from Dr. Humphrey Dake is the President of the Association of Ghana Industries.
So there are a number of tax reforms that I believe we need to really look at. Secondly, initiative for exchange, the exchange rate, the dollarization of our system. I'd ask a question about what is the policy initiative around our remittance law. We know what the Filipinos do, countries do regarding exporting of their talent and labor, and they have clear remittance policies regarding that. In the flip side, you drive tourism as another means of creating revenue through your forex. So in the short term, in the first quarter, assuming you anticipate a $10 billion shortfall, can you design a policy regarding tourism and a remittance policy to presumably give you a $4 billion, and then also target your export company? Once you go by starting, it takes time to go through the correction period before you say, Jack, either you're getting out of power or the situation is worse. Target existing export companies, give them some intervention to drive export. Automatically, that will bring in some money. And then other initiatives. So we're looking out for innovations and initiatives around the exchange rate, how to manage the exchange rate as another option.
President of the Ghana Association of Industries, Dr. Humphrey Dake. Now, energy analyst Dr. Suleiman Yusuf has described moves by President-elect John Mahama to privatize aspects of the listed company of Ghana's operations as a prudent decision. Now, John Mahama, in this interview with the Global South World News Network, revealed that he plans to actually privatize aspects of ECG's operations. Dr. Yusuf says this could turn around the fortunes of the power distribution sector.
I think it is feasible, and why it is very crucial is the fact that if you look at the distribution aspect of the value chain, it is a cash conduit of the trade. I've always mentioned that if you don't get the distribution right, you can be sure that generation and transmission are going to find it difficult. And what is the aspect of the distribution that requires to be given so much attention? I think the president mentioned some aspect of it, and I've also agreed so much to that. I was saying that it is not good for us to give the entitled ECG to a private sector. ECG is a huge body. Now we have to look at the problem areas, and if you look at where the problem areas, I think we know them. It's the revenue collection.
Dr. Yusuf Suleiman is an energy analyst. Now, commercial banks are now turning to artificial intelligence to help them improve loan extension as well as repayment. Now, this is expected to complement other measures in place to deal with challenges when it comes to the high loan default rate in the country. First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari, disclosed this at an international conference on business finance and economics at the University of Ghana Business School.
In Ghana, for example, the introduction of AI enabling digital banking services is being harnessed to simplify credit scoring, allowing SMEs to access much needed financing, is spurring job creation to strengthen the economy. It will interest you to know that in the sandbox at the Bank of Ghana, banks are using digital footprints of all of us to be able to score and assess your willingness to pay and ability to pay. We call it trusted credentials, and that information is being given to banks to be able to give credit to SMEs. Most of the time, SMEs are not able to access credit from the traditional banks because they require tangible collateral. But collateral has always been limited to buildings, properties, and other things. Now your digital footprint is also collateral. What you do, websites you visit, how quickly you pay things, how you load data, credit on your phone, how quickly you pay. All of them are put together to design what you call trusted credentials. And that is helping banks to be able to determine your willingness and ability to pay.
And that Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari is the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Interesting.
And that is so
full. On social media, websites, whatever you watch, whatever you engage in, they would know.
But don't see the bad side of it.
I'm
but
not
also
seeing bad side. I'm saying that
the
they will
equity
know.
that they're able to use that digital footprint to say that MFI is credit worthy.
And there will be no evasion of privacy and all
Well,
this.
I believe that all those things are in line with our data protection laws as well. So you can use that MFI as an equity to get a loan from a bank, maybe about 100,000, 200,000, and then to buy your gold bar.
But how these algorithms work, there are sites that I may not want to go, but it may pop up somewhere around you and stuff like that. Then you judge me based
like
on that.
Papani and the site that
maybe
he
they
visits
use my
always,
computer.
and
Anyway,
whether it will
let's
affect
see how
him
that
when
goes.
trying to get a loan.
Well, thank you, George. Let's do sports. What's happening?
Well, for the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, SWAG, they've been urging President-elect John Mahama to prioritize sports funding and policy development as part of his administration's broader agenda for national growth. Now, this was captured in a statement that was issued and signed by the SWAG President, Kwabena Yabuama. My colleague, Kwame Banaya, has more of that statement.
In a congratulatory statement signed by SWAC President Kwabena Yabuah, the association highlighted key areas that requires agent attention, including increased funding for sports, grassroots development, and creating employment opportunities within the sector. The association emphasized that such efforts could unlock the vast talent of Ghanaian youth, foster national unity, and generate significant revenue for the country. Acknowledging Mr. Mahama's pre-election engagement with major sports stakeholders, including SWAG, the statement described his commitment as a positive step towards transforming the sports landscape in Ghana.
That's a statement from SWAG. Now, MFR, well, let's just turn attention to some Champions League action that's underway and due to come off tonight. Underway is the game between Girona and Liverpool. Second half has just begun. It's currently goalless. Dynamo Zagreb and Celtic are also in action, but also looking forward to a big game between Atalanta and Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, following their loss to Liverpool, will be looking to bounce back against Atalanta. Another big game is Bayer Leverkusen and Inter Milan, and also Paris Saint-Germain and RB Salzburg will be in action later tonight. But coming up on the weekend, and we'll be building up to that, is the super clash between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Hartlepool. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about it.
Yes, can't wait for that. Thank you very much, Musbao. Sounds of voices of thousands of NPP supporters who called on the party's defeated presidential candidate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to pledge their support to him following his electoral defeat. On his part, Dr. Bawumia thanked the party faithful for their support and reiterated his commitment to the party's ideals and future. The vice president called for calm within the party, urging members to move past blame games, reflect on what led to their defeat and bounce back stronger. My colleague Kenneth Jesse was at the vice president's residence. Here's his report.
Addressing party supporters at his official residence a day after the Electoral Commission declared the results, Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia said internal data shows that 40% of electorates that voted for the MPP abstained from voting this year, while John Mahama maintained his votes from 2020.
Election yen na yedima NDC. Enye omuno mubini. Omo numbers no answer from 2020. Yen yedi no above from by 40%. Inti analysis no simple. Inti adia me pese yen nyina yen hu say united we stand, divided we fall.
Among the crowd were MP elects for the Wejagbawe and Trobu constituents respectively, who pledged their support for the MPP flag bearer.
Your Excellency, you have shown to the whole world, you have shown to the whole of Ghana that you are a classic leader. Now the whole world, even Americans, Donald Trump in 2020, he couldn't do what you did. We hear about all the pressures yet from all manner of countries, but you are just a man. Listen, Obianko election, what campaign to say that?
Doctor, trouble for your door. Yenja wumu de biara da. Esanse wushe Greater Accra. Only constituency a man will vote a trouble constituency. Nah, you better try everything possible. Ya ni oma na eshiegu. You be hu hawa, you be siya, you be shisheno. Wushe vote a ye nyanu NDC di wini trouble constituency a. The same vote no omudi buy 2020 only 100 votes per and a better also. Na chese young crofo no and antwaba.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia called on all members and supporters of the parties to stop blaming one another over the party's defeat in the 2024 elections and unite ahead of the 2028 elections.
His ways are not his ways. Who pain no, don't start blaming people. Blame game no, a bit destroy. Let's come together because you need say if we are and a power no more. And to just say so that by 28 no we are united. Once we are united no with a goal, you are going to win in 2028. Unity no here. Stop the blame games. Let's look at the future.
The supporters came from 5 constituencies in the Greater Accra region: Anyaso Utuum, Klote Kole, Wejagbawe, Ayawaso East, and Trobo, to show their unflinching support for their defeated presidential candidate.
Well, so that's Kenneth JC's report. Well, we know that the party obtained 4.65 million votes, nearly 1.7 million votes short of John Mahama's 6.3 million votes. Well, its MPs also lost significant ground in the parliamentary elections. We've been hearing from MP for Fuase Ayeribi and Minister for Works and Housing Kojo Ponkruma. He told Evans Mensah yesterday that the party is taking the message from voters very seriously.
The political class has to listen a lot more to the Ghanaian public. The power rests with the people. They give us that power for 4 years, and they will hold you accountable at the end of the 4 years. And so the political class needs to listen a lot more. Today, I see a lot of our colleagues in the NDC very jubilant. And my caution to them is to listen a lot more to the people who employ us, the people who vote for us. Because in the end, it is how you deal with the issues that matter to them that determines your fate at the end of the day. I think also within the political parties, there needs to be the culture of internal disagreement some more, without those who disagree being treated as though they are, for want of a better expression, internal enemies. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have groupthink and everybody, singing one song that all is well until you are railroaded into a war. So there are a number of lessons here. These are a few that I'll pick up at this point.
Well, let's wrap up Newsnight tonight with that report from Maxwell Agbagba as the President-elect John Dramani Mahama gave his victory speech yesterday.
What a day! What a day the Lord has made!
The atmosphere at John Mahama's campaign office was filled with celebration and gratitude as his vehicle arrived. Party stalwarts and supporters, many dressed in white, gathered to mark the occasion. NDC Chairman Johnson Isiedun Ketia, however, urged members to remain modest in their celebrations.
The battle has ended and the great elephant has been slaughtered mercilessly. Let me advise that we should be modest in our celebrations because I can almost feel the weight of responsibility on our shoulders.
Vice President-elect Professor Nana Jane Opukwajiman said her role is not about personal recognition but about paving the way for others to succeed.
The victory is for all of us, but especially for our daughters, for our youth, for our women. My job was to have opened the door.
In his address, President-elect John Mahama called on citizens to refrain from vandalizing government facilities and installations.
I know that many of you are feeling frustrated and angry, but I ask you today, please do not give in to negativity and pessimism. There have been reports of acts of vandalism at some government facilities and installations. I urge you not to vent your frustration in criminal enterprise. We must channel our anger and frustration into the positive enterprise of resetting and rebuilding our nation.
John Mahama also revealed that he had received a congratulatory call from President Kufuor.
And we had the opportunity to discuss matters related to the Joint Transitional Team. We agreed on an early inauguration of the Joint Transitional Team as early as Wednesday, the 11th of December.
Acknowledging the challenges ahead, John Mahama stated that the outgoing government has left Ghana in a dire state. However, he expressed confidence in the collective ability to overcome these obstacles and rebuild the nation.
I also give thanks to God for preparing a table before me in the presence of my enemies and for anointing my head with oil and making my cup run over.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have much to say, but what I have to say is I don't gonna be trying to say this, but hey,
and that's how we end today's edition of Newsnight.